Welcome, everyone. This is the Real Purpose Podcast. I'm Michelle Carr.
And I'm Trevor Ounce. This podcast is about finding real purpose in our business, communities, and our lives.
So today, Trevor, we are going to talk about shop local.
Shop local.
We've had a lot of businesses close in Airdrie recently, small businesses.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking.
It is.
To be really honest.
Yeah.
So you brought this up as a topic. Let's discuss this. And
Sure.
I think it's a really fantastic topic because shop local means a lot of things.
Yeah.
So what do you think when you hear it?
Well, I think for me, it means not instantly just assuming that you have to go to Calgary to kind of get what you need. Mm-hmm. I kind of like to look for the local kind of shops if I'm looking for something particular.
Yep.
If I'm out and about and I need something, or I want, like, for me, I like getting like really fresh coffee and little stuff like that. And if you can find it locally first before defaulting right away to like, oh, I know this place downtown Calgary, I think that kind of for me is like not instantly always just like defaulting to like, oh, I need something very specific or I need something this, because there's a lot of really cool and niche little stores in Airdrie that you can get a lot of cool stuff from. And I think a lot of people just think, if you need something specialty or you need something niche, instantly, well, I got to go to Calgary to get it. And for me, it's try to think first and then kind of maybe spread out if there's nothing around.
So where do you get your coffee?
Right now, we're getting our coffee. Can I name drop names?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Right now we go to Homegrown. Actually, I send Susie to Homegrown. She goes there, and they've got some really kind of cool micro. Like roasters.
Really? Like a microbrewery, but for coffee?
Yeah, and I think they're like local, like not Airdrie local, but I think they're, I think I don't want to like say the wrong thing, but they're like Alberta.
Well, her whole store is Alberta-based businesses.
Yeah, and they're really, really close. I don't want to name the town because I'm not sure if I get it right. Sure. But we get a lot of our coffee there. And there's a lot of cool stuff just at Homegrown. Homegrown's actually a really wicked store.
It is.
If you're looking for some kind of unique ideas, even just gift ideas too, it's kind of a neat place to go.
I always go there for gifts. It's fantastic.
Yeah, we've actually even received a lot of gifts from people that have gone there too. Yeah,
that's really sweet.
We got a cutting board from there, and it's got like this little bee logo on it, and it's someone who makes them. Again, I'm like so sorry if I'm butchering all this stuff, but like really, really cool stuff.
Yeah.
And it's really awesome and unique to see that there is so much of that right here in Airdrie that you wouldn't necessarily like instantly think like, I need like wicked fresh, like 1 day old roasted coffee beans. Like, and if you're into like roasting coffee, like coffee, like the sooner you can like actually have it, like since it's been roasted, the better.
Oh, really?
Like for me, like when you pick up a bag and it's like, this bag was roasted 2 weeks ago, it's like,
no thanks.
Down. But you get,
coffee snob,
I'm a little bit of a snob, yeah. But
I love it.
But yeah, they carry some really, really cool stuff. And so I always like to think like, if you're looking for stuff, like who'd have thought like that's here in town? Yeah. But it is, and there's right so much of that stuff where I think it's just easy for people to just like say, oh, I've got to go here to get that stuff. And it's like, no, there's a lot of cool stuff right there.
Well, one thing you brought up that I thought was really interesting is you said Microlocal, like your neighbor, your next door neighbor around the corner. And there's a lot of home-based businesses, particularly in Airdrie, you know that. And that's the thing, like get to know your neighbors and what they do, because they might have the exact thing you're looking for right there. Yeah,
and that's I think shop local can also mean like getting involved local, because a lot of the reasons why we know, or we found out about all these places, is we got to know them. Like, you know what I mean? Like we didn't necessarily like know that this shop over here existed because we were like searching for it. We just got to know them and, oh, what do you do? And because we were involved like with the Airdrie Angel and different events and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a lot about like getting to know your neighbors and like, oh wow, you do what? You sell what? Like I didn't even know that, right? And so for us, like that's one of the like most gratifying and fun things about running a business is getting to know all the little tiny micro businesses that you would not normally even think to look for or think you even need to know that exists. And you're like, wow, like that's the coolest thing ever, right?
Exactly.
So I think, shop local also means like be involved and plugged in local because you hear more when you're like just listening, Airdrie listening, like you're listening what's going on, what's happening.
Ear to the ground.
Like even like, again, I'll name drop another one. But even like Damn It Amit, like he was our neighbor and like we always seen his food truck going by and we were walking by and we, he was like the most friendly guy in the world. He just kind of started talking to us on the street and we're like, oh my God.
Is that truck working? Is that like working? To get a burger?
Yeah,
is that open right now?
and then he got like, he met you guys and got involved with the program.
Yeah, we've known them for years,
And it's just like stuff like that where you're like, wow, like if you just are oblivious or just don't want to pay attention to that, I think you miss out on all the neat little stories and businesses that are like just kind of buzzing around.
Yeah, you got to just pay attention for a minute.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Well, and I think too, one of the things that when we talk about supporting local, it can mean a lot of different things. And I think we need to talk about what local means. Because sometimes when you say shop local, people think of an individual business, like homegrown or something along those lines. And sometimes the franchise-style businesses could get poo-pooed on a little bit because they're not local.
For sure, yeah.
But I want to challenge people on that. Because, I mean, take Montana's. We'll name drop again there a little bit. These are all our friends. It's all good.
Yeah.
But that's owned by two people who live in Airdrie. Yeah. They employ people who live in Airdrie. Yeah. They give back to charities based in Airdrie. So it might be a national or international brand behind the name, but they're still very much local.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's restaurants that maybe are able to get their food from local farms and that kind of thing. That's another version of local. Yeah. 948 Brewing is another good example. They make and I'm terrible with beer, Trevor. This is, and I'm sorry guys at 948, I apologize. But they have a beer with Earl Grey in it, the tea, and they actually work with Sorso to get the tea to put into their beer. And that's all I can say about it because I don't understand that. But to me, that's also shopping local in the sense that they're working together locally. So I think shop local can mean a lot of different things. And even like take MLM businesses, where it's, multi-level marketing, for if anyone doesn't know what MLM is. And, a lot of times that used to be home parties or online sales and that kind of stuff. But that's still a mom taking her kid to hockey. Like she's a woman in our community or a man in our community. Yeah. And buying from her is shopping local also, because you're supporting someone in our city. Yeah. And I think that means a lot.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And even about the bigger chains or the national chains too. There are owners and people behind them that do live here. And, one of the kind of privileges I've had of working with the Airdrie Angel is seeing that even the big players, like they have a face too behind the big name, and they give back too just as much. Like they want to be part of the community and they want to,
Save on Foods was amazing.
Huge.
Daddy-daughter hair day,
Yeah, and so it's not just like, don't just look for the niche, the one-offs. Like, yes, for sure.
Yes, support the one-offs, support please.
Them. Absolutely. But also too, like the big brands here, the chains, like the owners live here too, like and they give back to the community.
Naomi at Orange is another good example. Yeah. She puts on her own events to fundraise for things in the city.
They do a ton,
and she's got the backing of a brand behind her, but it's her hard work that gets done.
Yeah, and I just think it's just easy to think like for me, it's just easy to think like I need X, I need Y. I'm just going to go into Calgary.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go grab it because it's more convenient, or it's a bigger, like they have bigger stores.
Yeah.
And they, like, and sometimes like if you can get it here, to me, it's like, then just keep it here, because I think that money or that business gets recycled back through the community.
Yes.
So all that, the bigger chains will help out the littler stores too, indirectly, right? So I think the more you can keep here, obviously if you need to go to Calgary, like obviously
maybe we can't get everything, but
try. And I think that the big thing for me is like just staying plugged in, and maybe not like, you'll realize stores and services and things that are around here that you didn't even realize. Like that for me is always the cool thing, is like I didn't even realize that was here, right? And there's so many of those moments that we hear. We just heard one the other day. It was, I can't remember the name, but it's like a French bake.
They just opened like 4 seconds ago. I think it's French.
Yeah.
Haute Pastry, or I can't recall the exact name of it.
But there's only one thing that goes amazing with like really good coffee, and that's like really good pastry.
Yeah.
And like when we heard that, it was like, but we wouldn't have heard that if we weren't like on Facebook and talking to other businesses.
Exactly.
And like, oh, what? There's like this French pastry. Like, okay, I know what I'm doing this weekend.
But that's the thing too. You hear about it on social media, maybe, but it's this conversation. We're like, I heard about that place too. I totally want to check out their croissants, right?
Yeah, totally.
Like, I think that's why, going back to what you originally said, that you've got to have conversations with people
for sure,
and learn about things, right?
Yeah.
You said something a little bit earlier about giving back to the community, and I think that's a really important piece to recognize too, because a lot of businesses get approached to support local endeavors, whether it be, say, the 2020 Winter Games that are coming up, or support for the food bank or ADVAS, or any of those things, and it's supporting these local businesses that allows them to be able to give back, which I think is something maybe we don't always fully connect the dots of, but when you go knock on the door and say, hey, would you like to sponsor an event, or could you put together a draw prize package or something like that, my tip would be to make sure you've bought something from that business before you knock on the door, because it's us buying from them and supporting them that really creates the opportunity for them to give back.
Yeah, or or at least get the chance to like go in and meet them and get to know them and put a face to the name. I think that's always the really neat thing too, is that every like business, big or small, there's always a story to how hard they've worked at it, or where they started, or their inspiration. That's really kind of cool.
Yes.
Or why they're so good at what they are good at, their little craft.
Yes.
And, I just think that that's important for community. For me, is that, right down like from like playing hockey to charitable events to sporting events, all these kind of things that if the small business, or not even just small business, if the business community and the community as a whole in Airdrie is well supported, they'll support all these other things for your, like the hockey and the soccer and the football, like for your kids, and like the school events and the it's when they do well, I think the community does well.
Absolutely, it's a circle.
I haven't met too many people. Airdrie's, I think, it really, I don't know if it's a unique place. I think it's very unique that like everybody is so keen to like give back. Like it's I haven't met too many like business owners that are just like take, and they just kind of hide in the corner. Like it's a pretty active like where, like I always get into these conversations, and I always get like, well, how can I help, or what can I do, or I can't do much, but can I do this, or would you guys want some free that? And it's a pretty unique situation that we have here. And I just think if you support that, the more they're going to be able to do that for all the other things we want to do.
Well, and if you think about it, so you go into the store or the restaurant or the whatever, and you buy the thing, and then they're able to take funds and support it back to the community, and then your kid has a great experience, through their sporting event, and then they're happy and you're happy, and like it literally is a cycle. And I honestly think that is a big part of what community is, and community support. And it can happen a lot of different ways. Obviously, when we're talking about shopping, we're talking about money. But there's so many ways to support local, and even just telling your friends.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
Like,
you may not like need the service that they provide,
Yes.
but like 10 of your friends.
exactly. Still
might.
listen for
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. The other thing too is sometimes it is obvious that you're supporting local. So we've been very fortunate because Micro Acres and Bambino's Pub have both done fundraisers, and they're not the only ones. If we listed every sponsor and
You're
fundraiser,
all-
we'd be
yeah, all
you guys would
day.
be bored. But Micro Acres did one where a certain percentage of their sales for a period of time went to Airdrie Angel. That was amazing.
Yeah.
So people were like, yeah, I want to buy this. I'm supporting something right now today.
Yeah.
Bambino's does that as well with their, I think it's called Pints for a Purpose, and I apologize if that's not correct, or Pints for a Cause. But again, in Glenna Hope's name, because her sister is there, have done that multiple times as well. And sometimes it's obvious, but sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
But I think if you look around, a lot of businesses give back, and so supporting them is just an amazing way to give back to them.
Yeah. And in your own way, you're giving to those charities by shopping local, right?
Yeah.
You're giving a chance to support the programs and all the stuff that
Yeah.
Airdrie has to offer.
Well, and I think too, like oftentimes when we think shop local, we think about consumer items like gifts or books or food or something like that. But we've shopped local.
We have.
That sounds weird, doesn't it, a little bit?
A little bit, yeah.
But like you guys have, aside from Airdrie Angel, which looks as beautiful it does because of you and Susie, I like thank you, because I know what it looked like before. None of you do, because that's been deleted from the internet. But
I think I have it saved somewhere.
but like we've had you guys help us with marketing and branding and that kind of stuff on a professional level, because we're like, well, you're local, you care about your community.
Yeah, and it was
Why else would we call anyone else?
Well, and we're still here, and it's a great experience, and we love doing it.
Yeah.
And and I think the same thing for us. We recently, a year now,
Yeah,
we bought a house, or we sold a house and bought a house here in Airdrie, and it was really cool to obviously use you guys as our real estate agents, and to really kind of help us along the way. But what I really loved about it was that I think every single process and step, from home inspection to mortgage to lawyers, was all you don't have to go anywhere. It was all right here in Airdrie, and everybody was extra awesome, because I think they care a little bit more. They know about you, or they might have heard, everyone knows Susie, I guess. Nobody really knows me, but they know Susie. Yeah. And it's just they
do now, they know you.
Yeah, they do now. But it just felt like friends helping friends rather than businesses helping businesses. And, I don't know, to me, it's I had to pay for it anyways. It was so nice to pay the people that I know are looking out for me, and so I didn't buy any product from you or from our lawyer or anything like that. I was buying just the services and the guidance to get it done, and it just it was just such a comfortable this is I'm not treated just I'm just off the street.
Yeah.
I just walked in if I came to Calgary and found somebody, maybe not. But, it just felt so really hometown feeling for us anyways. And I think it made the whole experience, it was nerve-wracking for me to sell and buy a house. And it was oh my God, what are we doing? And
you did great.
It was just, you guys, the whole experience was really, really good. And we got gift baskets from people too for just using them. It was neat. It was, it was a really, really fun kind of experience to kind of go down that road. And for us, Susie and I, it was really nice to feel when we started our business here, we were working with a lot of people, and people were coming to us all the time for advice and help and all this other stuff, and it felt really nice for us to be on the other side of we don't know what we're doing, and we're
can
lost.
You help us?
Can you guys help us? We're lost without you guys. And it was so neat to be able to just say I don't know anything about this. Here's my details, get me into my new house and sell my old one. And it was really awesome.
Make
so
it work.
Really fun.
Yeah. So I think that's something we could maybe challenge our viewers or listeners whatever you may be, to do is to think about how you can support local. Maybe one, have some more conversations. Ask your neighbors things like, oh, where did you get that? Or, maybe make a point of, if you need to go and get a sweater, try and look for one at a local store. And we've got loads of them. And then also not just items, not just merchandise, but what services can we get locally? And just have that pause and say, instead of going to Calgary, like you said, could I get that right here in Airdrie?
Absolutely.
And I bet you can.
And stay plugged in and listen a lot of times I think you'll meet a lot of business owners at like events. Like listen to what's happening like in just even in your neighborhood. If there's a charity event or there's something going on, a lot of times you'll go there and there'll be like a food truck set up and there'll be this kind of stand set up, and they're all just little businesses kind of supporting that charity. And you'll get to know, you'll be like, hey, I didn't even know this existed. And I think that's always like kind of the fun experience of like finding all those little nuggets in your community that you had no idea existed. Right. So
taking a minute to explore.
Yeah.
Love it. The Real Purpose Podcast is brought to you by The Car Group, a real estate team that wants you to love your community as much as your home. Visit thecargroup.ca so we can learn how to help you today. All right, Trevor, it's time to get into the Airdrie Angel stories for this month.
All right.
So our first recipient is Chelsea. They have been facing some challenging times just with jobs and cutbacks in hours. But then they have two little boys, which are the cutest kids. I'll tell you more after we listen to the conversation. But both of them have medical needs that have just come up recently. So you add the costs of that in and out of the children's hospital, parking, and then equipment they need to buy on top of job hour cutbacks and all that kind of stuff. It's been a difficult road. So here's my conversation with Chelsea.
I'm sitting here with you, Chelsea, and you are one of our recipients for October.
Yes.
And you've got these two beautiful little boys here. We've got Mason, who's 3, and we have Bryson. And how old is Bryson?
Just turned 7 months today.
7 months today. You're quite happy about that, aren't you? You guys have had a lot going on with your family. Why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, the biggest stress lately has just been this. We had his head didn't grow in the proper shape that it was supposed to.
Okay.
And his had nothing. We had to do the head shape clinic at the children's.
Okay.
And his was nothing to do with positioning. His growth plate in the back of his head didn't grow properly.
Okay.
So most babies, as their heads grow, the growth plate kind of grows out.
Yep.
Well, his grew in.
Oh.
So he has a dimple in the back of his head, which caused the sides of his head to grow to a little bit of point and then to grow up. So his head just didn't grow properly.
Okay.
It's quite common.
Okay.
It does happen. So it had nothing to do with positioning. It was just
the way he slept, nothing like that.
It was just the way his head grew. No.
So he's wearing this helmet, and we know you guys can only hear this conversation. Yes. So he's got a helmet on.
It's called a cranial remolding orthotic, is what it's called.
But it's not covered by Alberta Health.
Covered by Alberta Health.
And I imagine it's not an inexpensive thing.
No, it is $2,500.
Wow.
Yes. Not to mention the gas, the parking, and everything driving from Airdrie to the children's hospital.
What about Mason? Doesn't he have orthotics for his
feet?
His feet.
He needs to get orthotics for his feet. The bone that runs down your big toe there, it didn't strengthen, so he gets really sore feet and he gets growing pains and he wakes up in the middle of the night screaming because his legs hurt. And that's what it is.
Oh, man.
And those aren't cheap either.
No. That's a lot on your young family.
That is a lot on our plate. Not to mention, I don't work.
Okay.
I sell, I have direct sales businesses.
Yeah.
But, obviously with the economy and stuff,
that's a challenge.
It is. It really is.
So you're at home with the kids.
I am. I clean houses when I can. My husband works full time, works overtime. That's where he is today.
Okay.
The shop was opening today, and they were giving him some extra hours. So he's like, I'm going to take it.
Absolutely.
So basically, we're pretty much a one-income household.
Wow. And you're trying to also manage these extra expenses for medical.
We've just finally gone back to regular hours. His hours were cut back. About a month ago, they started back to full hours.
Oh, good.
That's kind of nice. So this will be the first full paycheck we've gotten in a while.
Well, you were nominated, as you know, for the Airdrie Angel program. And the program is designed to just lift the spirits of someone going through a difficult time.
Yeah.
And you guys are, you're obviously a beautiful, happy family. And, this can happen to any of us. Something just doesn't grow right with your child. There's some medical issue. And before you know it, you're driving in and out of the children's hospital. You're parking, and then you're paying for equipment pieces that are expensive. And we just wanted to lift your spirits and hopefully...
We really appreciate it. This is amazing.
So the very first item we have is actually for the boys. They are toys from Jason and Tara DeWeird's family and friends. So they have a great fundraiser that they do every year, and people donate gifts. It's for you. So Mason, I don't know if you like Toy Story, but I've got some Buzz Lightyear for you.
What do you say?
You're so welcome.
Except for you, just for you, buddy. You're pretty lucky.
And then for Bryson, we have a little VTech toy here, which is ideal for 1 to 5. So I think you'll like that.
Brother will like playing with that too.
Yeah. The next item we have is from Project Linus. And what they do is they make blankets for people that are going through challenging things. And as you guys are going through, appointments at the hospital and things like that, these blankets are handmade and knitted with love. And we have
Those are
one.
always the best.
Yes, and we have one for each of the boys.
Can you say thank you?
Yeah, you're welcome. Now we have something for you. Anna Spawn Wellness has donated a gift certificate, so you get to go get a manicure.
Oh my God.
Just for you.
I don't even know the last time I had a manicure.
Montana's Restaurant has donated a $100 gift certificate, so you and your hubby can go enjoy a dinner out, or even with the kids too. Pink Wand is giving you a gift certificate for a 3-person 1-hour clean.
Oh my God.
You clean other people's homes, but it's sure nice to have someone clean your own.
I've never had anybody clean my house. I've always cleaned everybody else's.
This will be the greatest hour of your life.
That will be the greatest hour of my life. Oh my God. The thing it'll be keeping it clean.
You're right.
With a 3-year-old.
SVB Events has donated a $200 gift card for fuel.
Oh,
so
wow.
that should help with gas
Yes.
in and out of Calgary. Big Springs Plumbing and Heating has donated $200 for groceries.
Oh, wow.
For you guys. For the next item, we've been able to pool funds from a few people. Funds from our Daddy-Daughter Hair Day, the 200 Club, which is a group of women who donate to various charities around the town, and Watches and More. And they've come together, and we have a gift card for you to use towards parking at the Children's Hospital.
Oh my goodness.
Axiom Mortgage and Loving Hands Partners in Care have donated $250 total, $200 from Axiom and $50 from Loving Hands Partners in Care for medical expenses
Oh my
for the
goodness.
boys. And finally, Venue Church has $500 cash for whatever you may need.
Oh my God.
And we hope that these things go to easing the
They will.
expenses
Thank
and
you.
easing the load for you guys.
It will. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't even know what to say. Wow.
So obviously she has the cutest kids ever.
Yeah.
It's funny when I was listening to the audio back, it almost sounds like when an adult makes the sound of a child's voice. Thank you so much. But his little face, and when I walked in, because they're not wrapped or anything like that, I had them, and he was not like, is that for me, or nothing like that. He was just like, she's got some stuff that looks pretty cool that I'd like to touch, but
Yeah.
I'm not allowed yet. And then when I told him those are for you, Mason was just like, for real? You could just see the excitement. So he was obviously quite happy about that. But
No, that was an awesome. It just kind of warmed your heart, kind of like
Yeah.
it just meant the world to them, kind of
Yeah.
thing. And they sounded like adorable. Those kids.
Yeah.
I mean. Yeah, they sounded cute.
and she said too, as I was leaving, that this was really going to help them because things have been piling up over the summer and with these diagnoses and needing to buy this helmet and stuff like that. And
I can't believe that's not covered.
I know.
Because she was also saying that it's not that uncommon for that to happen.
No.
So you would think that that's quite an expense. That's a lot of money. You would think at least partially covered, or
this happens when they're babies, less than a year old. So mom either may not be working or is on maternity leave,
Well, you got other expenses, like you've just got a new baby. You've got all the other stuff you got to get. I mean, and on top of that,
shocked
I was shocked that that's not covered.
And this one is literally just a growth plate issue. Like, it's not something that could have been prevented, or it would. That's just what happened.
Well, and you would think with these helmets, like another reason why I'm kind of surprised they're not covered, because I would think like you should give it back, and someone like, could they not be recycled? Like, are they like specifically molded for one person and that's it?
I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I know you could health through things, but you could sanitize them, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, like if it is a common issue that kids have, why can't, like, after your child is done with it and is back on track, it goes back to the hospital, they do their thing, they sanitize it, whatever, but then it goes to the next person, rather than, like, it just seems like, what do you do with it after? Do you keep it? Like,
that's a good point, because like when our son Lachlan broke his leg, he was in a walking boot for near the end of it. I was like, what do you do with this after? Like, I didn't want to throw it in the garbage, or like, I'm like, this doesn't go in recycling.
But is that gross? I don't know. I don't like.
But if there was some, and maybe there is. So if you know of like a program that takes these items and cleans them and then gives them to the next person, like, let us know. Message us, tag us, comment, all the things. Yeah. Because, and if there isn't, start one.
Yeah. Well,
not us. You guys.
The only reason why I think about it too is I go back to like playing hockey as a child.
Yeah.
That like kids grow so fast and you grow out of equipment so much that I know where I played hockey up in Fort McMurray, they had a program where you could just like have the goalie pads for 1 year and then you give them back, right? You don't have to buy like the $1,000, like, because it's really expensive, right? So you could rent it for the year and then give it back. And so when she said helmet, obviously it's a little bit more complicated than a hockey helmet. Sure. But I just, like, for me, okay, the initial cost of it, but why can't we make it better? Are they just throwing them out? Are they just, to me, there's something that doesn't make
there.
If the government's not at least going to cover the cost of it, why can't they cover the cost of like repurposing these to other kids? So
that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Anyways. But yeah, they were a great family. She was really grateful, and Mason and I share the same birthday. I just wanted to shout that out to Mason. He goes, I just had my birthday. He was telling me when I came in the door, and I said, what day was your birthday? And he goes, August 6th. I'm 3. And I go, well, I'm 38. And I mean, like, it's not very exciting for me, but for Mason, 3. That was pretty sweet.
That's awesome.
So anyhow, so she was extremely grateful, and
awesome.
That's what the whole program's for. They've hit a bad moment, and we wanted to let them know that they're not alone and help them climb out of this, so they can keep going in their lives.
Cool. Yeah, really good. The Real Purpose Podcast is brought to you by Switchback Creative, a marketing and web development company that is committed to telling the story of your brand. Check out switchbackcreative.ca.
All right, Trevor, our second recipient for October is Bev. Now, Bev has had some medical issues and has been going through the process of dealing with them and surgeries and all this kind of stuff. And it's one of those situations where the money's running out. And when you are trying to deal with a medical issue and financial stresses, I mean, it compounds. So I'll let you have a listen to our conversation.
Bev, you have been facing a lot of health challenges, from what we understand. A couple of surgeries, kidney related?
Yes, bladder related.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I was having frequent bladder infections and for about 7 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was one continual infection, and I was sent to a surgeon, a kidney bladder specialist, urologist, and he thought the bladder should come out because it's precancerous. So I thought, oh, that's different, but I was so sick I couldn't even work full time before my surgery.
Right.
I was missing a lot of work, and thank goodness I had an awesome boss that was very understanding. Jennifer Avery from the Academy of Learning. She said, don't worry, Bev, we'll look after you.
Yeah.
And I was sick a lot, and I used up a lot of my savings trying to make ends meet. And then I went in June 4th for surgery to have my bladder removed, and I had no funds by then, and I was in it for 60 days.
Wow.
And I'm supposed to wear a colostomy bag on the outside of my body to collect urine, but they can't get anything that will seal, so I'm always leaking urine.
Oh, wow. That's
And
gonna
I
be
don't know
difficult.
when I'm going to leak it or how bad it's going to be. Since June, I've been fighting with that, and until I get more surgery, I will be continuing to fight with that. So, needless to say, I'm out of funds. I'm bouncing quite a few bills. I've been not had enough funds to cover them. It's been a financial worry as well.
So it's physically stressful, financially stressful, emotionally stressful.
Yeah.
Oh,
Pretty much.
wow. Well, you were nominated for the Airdrie Angel program. The goal of the program is to lift the spirits of people going through a difficult time and try to ease some of the stress. So I hope the package that we have for you will help with that. So the first item we have for you is a gift certificate from Anna's Spa and Wellness to get your nails done.
Oh, awesome.
And I know you're facing a lot financially. What we also want to do is just put a smile on your face. And right now, the last thing you're going to think of doing is anything like that. So we wanted to kind of make sure you had a moment just for yourself. Summerhill Florist has a bouquet of flowers for you. Again, just want to lift your spirit and brighten your day.
Well, I planted flowers out my deck this summer, and I didn't get to see them because I was in the hospital.
Oh. The pink wand is giving you a gift certificate for a 3-person, 1-hour clean. Rotary Club of Airdrie has donated $200 for fuel. David Bowman Painting has $200 for groceries.
Groceries? What are those?
Orange Fitness has $200 for gift cards for travel, taxi, parking, any of that kind of stuff. 100 Men Who Give a Damn have donated $200 in gift certificates for healthy homemade meals. Finally, the City of Airdrie staff, they do different fundraisers and stuff, and they've donated to Airdrie Angel in the past. And with the funds that they've donated, we have been able to give you a $500 check for whatever you may need.
Thank you. Well, I asked God about 3 days ago. I said, you better do something because I'm at the end of my rope. Thank you. Thank you very much. This is awesome. Your timing couldn't be better. Honestly.
It's funny because I often think, I have no idea what's gone on in your day and how this may or may not help. And I believe that I always call exactly what I meant to.
Yes.
And you are chosen as our recipient exactly when you're meant to be.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's so true what I was saying there at the end. Like, you never know.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of the times we're trying to keep things going, and let's make sure we get the nominations sorted out and we pick up the items and put them together and print the letter. And there's the back end stuff. But when I sit down to call the person to let them know that they've been nominated and chosen, I honestly think to myself, literally almost every time, I could completely change their day.
Yeah.
And some people don't know what the program is, so they're not really sure what to expect. Some people do, and they know what it means for them. But this can be a really life-changing moment for some people, and it's cool to play a small role in that.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just, and for me, I just keep thinking, like, you know, how important health is and how quickly that can change, and how really when you don't have that, nothing else really matters. You
Exactly.
know? Like, and it's tough to hear, you know, that these things just happen out of the blue like that, you know, like, you know, precancerous bladder, like, I didn't even know that was a thing, like, where they had to remove it, and like that's like awful. I couldn't imagine. And it just makes me, you know, makes you grateful for what you have.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. And that, you know, it could change at any moment, and you just think, like, wow, like that's great that there's programs like this to help, like, maybe a little bit get them back on the right track. But I it's tough hearing those kind of stories because like it just changes like so fast. Like even just think the flowers that she planted and she can't even enjoy them, right? I mean, it's just like because nothing matters. You're just dealing with health stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's tough.
And it's hard too because we always try to have items in the package that will help them with day-to-day expenses. Not every one of our recipients has financial stressors on the go. And it's not necessarily about that. We find due to the circumstances of the stories, that's typically a piece of the puzzle. But we also always want to include things that bring people together or just lift their spirits personally.
Yeah, well, I mean, everything's been so gray and cloudy for so long. It's nice to even just like go get a massage or, have your house cleaned. I can only imagine like if you can't do the things that you normally do and take care of yourself, how amazing it would be just to have your house cleaned. Exactly. Something simple like we just take for granted. And I think that's amazing. Okay, so now it's time for our purpose pick, and normally we pick like a person or a company or an idea, like it could be another podcast, could be like just a initiative in a different country or whatever. But I think this time to stick with that local theme, I think the purpose pick this week should be get plugged in, get to know your community, talk to people, and shop local. Keep it local. Whatever that means for you. Just stay in Airdrie.
And remember too, these business owners 9 times out of 10, probably like 9.8 times out of 10, are not filling their pockets with gobs of money and getting, private jets. These are people that are just trying to pay the bills, trying to make a dream come true and put their kids through hockey or dance and food on the table. So we're all working to support each other, and that's really what community is, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. So that's this week's purpose pick.
I love it. I love it. All right, well, tell us. Actually, we should get people to do that. Comment or tag. I never know all the right words, but do the thing you're supposed to do.
Don't at me.
And tell us how you shop local. In your community,
and let us know about the little nuggets that we might not know about.
Tell us.
I want to know what's out there, and if there's another wicked coffee roaster that's starting out of his basement, I'd love to meet him. So let's do this.
Oh, I love it. All right. Well, that is it for this episode. If you enjoyed this, please leave a comment below. And if you're watching this on Facebook or Instagram, like, heart, all the things, comment.
Share.
And if you're listening to it on a podcast platform like Anchor, iTunes, Google, Spotify, or any other one for that matter, please subscribe.
Please.
And then you won't miss an episode, and more people will find this, which we hope it's of value to people. And finally, if you know anyone in Airdrie that could use a lift to the spirit, please go to airdrieangel.ca and nominate them today.
Yes, please. So thanks all for tuning in. Until next time, we're wishing you real purpose in all that you do.